Now I'm telling these son of a bitches that we respect the Japanese of this country who are honest businessmen. And yeah, this is the land of opportunity for legitimate business, not for death merchants who distribute drugs to our children through schools and on the streets. Now I'm telling these motherfuckers that if they continue killing our children to make their precious millions that they deposit in their secret Swiss bank accounts, Counselor, before your lawsuit even gets off the court clerk's desk, I'll have their stinking bodies in garbage bags and ship them back to Japan for fertilizer. Got it?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thank you for listening to the McJeffrey 500, the podcast where I count down my 500 favorite movies and then make my friends watch them one film at a time. It is July 10th, 2015. My co-hosts today are Mr. Paul, Mr. Rob, and second straight week, Mr. Eric.
Woo me.
Ooh, look at you. All right, energy people.
You were in the podcast last week.
Yeah, I was there with Scott, yeah.
Oh.
That we did this.
Which one did you watch?
We watched Schenectady, Schenectady, New York.
Schenectady, New York.
Spoilers, Scott had already seen it.
Yeah, I'd already seen it too, so it worked out perfectly.
My TV died, so it was a very special episode.
They didn't even watch the movie. They talked about it for like 15 minutes.
And then we just talked about what Scott's been watching. It was like I said, he came to the new place, my new den, and my TV decided to crap out that very day. It was a good run. It was actually our mutual friend Ty's old digital TV he gave to me.
Digital TV.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Do you
know what digital means?
I'm sorry, high definition.
Okay, all right. Was it still a tube?
No, it was flat.
It was a flat screen.
How thick though?
It was for a flat screen. Yay.
Yeah,
so it was still a CRV.
No, it wasn't CRT.
Yeah,
CRT, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it was not. It was like, you could lift it with one arm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a small TV. It's like a
LED?
Monitor size-ish. You know?
It wasn't an LED, then what was it?
It was
LCD?
You're speaking foreign to me. I don't know these terms.
If it's not a plasma, it'd be an LCD.
For someone who is supposedly a cinephile, for you not to know the equipment that you're watching.
Actually, this is why I like Jeff as a moviegoer more than I like you, because he doesn't give a shit about how beautiful it looks. He cares about other things.
Content.
Right.
Content.
I will watch a movie on DVD and I will not be distracted by the lack of clarity. So-called clarity. But good news, the movie we're watching today will be in Blu-ray.
Pristine Blu-ray.
It's nice. I had to actually buy this special order. It's a big... I'm excited about this podcast, but before we talk about that movie... Hey, Paul!
Yeah?
What have you watched this week?
Well, before the big one, I guess I did watch...
Before the big one.
That's the other movie we're going to talk about.
Oh.
I saw Wild.
Oh,
it's a good flick.
I liked it, yeah. I don't think it... I mean, I probably shouldn't compare it to it, but I'm going to anyways. I liked it less than I liked Into the Wild.
interesting.
I didn't think it was as good as that. But, yeah, it was still good.
Maybe my perspective with Into the Wild is a little skewed because I actually read that book before
I read that book too. So.
And I liked the movie less than the book.
I liked it.
I've never read Wild.
Is also a very popular book.
But Kat read the book, and she's liked Wild, the movie, quite a bit as well. So I don't know if that.
Yeah, Wild's a solid film.
Oh, I think it's one of the better movies of last year, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Yeah, I guess I empathize somewhat with the character, but on some level it felt like she's a little too self-destructive. Like there's a scene where she's in a therapist's office and she looks up at the sign, and it's a picture of the Milky Way galaxy, and it says, "You are here," right? And so she turns to the therapist and she says, "Why do you got to teach people that they're insignificant?" And I turned to my wife and I'm like, "That's exactly what she needs, is to know she's insignificant. That the death of her mother is just part of life. It's sad and it's awful, but it shouldn't destroy you." I mean, I don't know.
So if you were like her friend, you would be just annoyed with her, just
right, because
her downward spiral.
Yes.
It's like everyone's mom dies eventually. I'm sorry, yours died before mine.
But his Radiohead phase,
I
don't recall ever us.
I was
giving
never
him
sympathetic. I actually
right, but we never sat down and said, "Bro, get over."
No,
that
I did
shit."
actually. I distinctly remember we had a dinner once, and I said something to the extent of, "You're not starving. You're not."
Yeah, we know. We made fun of him,
and I got shot down by other people in the group saying, "Oh, it's different perspective. You can't judge the same too." And I'm like, "No,
I know you
have to be."
You probably you're talking about Juice.
Yes,
I know.
yes.
I know who you're talking about. But at the same time, I don't think we were ever like real with him. We were sort of like poking at him, but I never think we sat down and said, "Bro."
But
your
everyone
shit
was
is
thinking it,
insignificant.
right?
Oh, sure.
Right, and so that's how I felt.
Russell,
watching this
don't listen to
movie.
this podcast.
He doesn't listen to any of this.
Yeah, listen to this.
Actually, I don't care if he listens to the podcast.
Right.
He would say it to his face.
I did.
That's the whole
I don't
point.
know if we did.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: when your friend is in pain or whatever, you don't want to
Or whatever.
to exacerbate it and make it worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you want to try to inject a little bit of
Perspective.
exactly, and that's what I was trying to do at least. And I
Yeah.
got shot down doing it, but in reality, I think even if you told him about it now, he'd say, "Yeah, that was not as significant as I was making it out to be."
Well, he's
right?
about to get married to a lovely woman. It all worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. Destiny.
It's the same thing that happened to the girl in
He
Wild.
was meant to drive dangerously while sipping NyQuil and listening to Radiohead.
But what
on the
he
freeway.
should have been doing was hiking. Can
Russell,
you imagine how
not the
long
most
would have
athletic
Russell
man.
lasted doing a?
Oh, he would have turned around like at mile 2 or 3.
No.
He's like, "I don't have electricity out here."
Well, no, yeah, he doesn't have his Game Boy. He wouldn't have a Game Boy. He wouldn't have a PSP. Or maybe he would bring those things with him.
But he'd run out of energy.
Right, he'd run out
Yeah.
of battery.
I could see him hooking up a solar pack. like,
right.
like,
Right.
Didn't you just get annoyed with all the nature around him? And
yeah, I don't
He
know.
claims he loves nature. Like, he goes to Monterey all the time.
But that's the only place he ever goes. So
Right, but that's nature, right?
well, it's
He
nature
doesn't
near
He
facilities.
doesn't
Yeah.
drag a PlayStation 4 with him to Monterey.
It's not like he's going to Yosemite.
Yeah, or going on long hikes, right? I mean, it's a little different when you go and stay in a nice hotel and eat.
Okay.
I, for one, would like to go
On the
on a
wharf.
long hike with Russell. I think we should arrange this.
Yes, you want to do a lot of things with Russell.
I do. I wanted to have lunch with him yesterday,
I
but he
do.
downgraded that lunch to coffee, and I tell him, "Fuck you, Russell." We were having lunch.
Yeah.
Did you have lunch with him?
No, I didn't see him. Maybe next week.
Lunch or nothing.
Lunch or nothing. Coffee. Coffee.
I don't
want his
drink coffee.
Pity coffee. I love you, Russell. Sorry, I'm going to miss your bachelor party.
Anyways, you were saying it's a Wild. You didn't
Yeah.
quite like it as much as
Not
Into
as
the
much
Wild.
as Into the Wild, but it was still a good movie. I'm not going to knock it for not
The-
liking the main character as much.
Did you like the main character Into the Wild?
I did. I think he was an idealist and a bit naive.
Bit-
But at
Neil
the same
Hurst,
time-
though, he was the character he played. He was kind of like he was kind of asking for it.
No.
He went in kind of pompous and arrogant, thinking, "Oh, I got this book, I got everything figured out." And what did him in? His complete lack of knowledge on the berries he ate.
No. It was the roots.
Oh, whatever.
But he experienced humility right before he died.
Right? Yeah, he couldn't stop fucking having diarrhea. I understand.
That's true clarity.
All right, we need to. We're already 8 minutes in, so
Oh,
let's
goodness.
let's talk about that other movie.
You want to talk about Human Centipede 3?
My God, this exists.
Yeah, so I actually honestly
You liked it?
No, I can't say that.
Okay.
But what I
Good.
can say is
Good.
the first half an hour was enjoyable from the standpoint of the acting was just so off the wall that it was entertaining. And
When he says off the wall, what he means is awful. Is the word he's
No,
looking
no,
for.
no, I don't think
So
so.
they take
Dieter, who in the first
Dieter
Human
Lisa.
Centipede, in the first Human Centipede movie, he was the MVP. He was the reason why you liked Human Centipede. In this movie, he sounds drunk throughout the entire movie.
Do you think he was legitimately drunk?
He probably was.
It's
From what
possible,
I understand,
yeah.
from what I understand, he didn't even want to do the movie. He actually fought with the director for a bigger paycheck. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, as a fuck you, because he ultimately didn't get what he wanted. Well, I'm going to be drunk the entire time I'm filming this movie. Because it is legitimately difficult to understand him.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of what I was having in the first half an hour is all of us trying to decipher what he was actually saying. And
Build your own subtitles, I suppose.
we broached that idea, but never did. And we
Well, it
weren't
was
sure.
rented on Xfinity, and I don't believe they offer
no,
subtitles
that
or closed captioning for rentals.
That's
Right.
probably correct on that.
Yeah.
So then I think what happened, though, is a bunch of other people showed up about half an hour into the movie, and then I couldn't hear dialogue anymore.
Because everyone was doing their own thing.
Yeah, so then all I was left with was the shock value, which I didn't really find all that shocking. Because when things try to shock you, they sort of cease having shock value.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So once the dialogue was gone for me, I think it was all downhill from there. I think if I would have been able to hear some of the rants he went on, I think I would have
don't
liked it more.
I mean, I heard most of his rants.
You didn't hear those
I
rants.
did.
You were the one talking half the time.
No, man. That's because I would listen to his rants and I'd be like, I either don't understand a fucking thing he's saying or what he's saying is nonsense. He is just going on a rant. He is off script. This is Tom Six as the director just sitting back and saying, fuck. This movie is a disaster. Go, Dieter. Just go.
Do we need to even explain what this movie's about?
It's
The people know.
It's a prison warden, what I guess is a private prison, privately owned prison or whatever, corporate-led prison. I don't know what it was. But there's this guy with a German accent wearing a cowboy hat that you can't fucking understand. And for some reason, he's the most sadistic person ever to be a warden in a prison. And he's got this Hitler mustached partner or associate.
Is the guy from the second movie?
Yes, in the
bad
second
guy from
movie,
the second
That movie was
who
horrible.
has this horrible southern accent. Just
It comes and goes.
it comes and goes,
It's
right?
very,
And then he's got
Robin
a
Hood.
porn star as a secretary, Brie Olson, that he
She's lovely.
uses as a way to drain his balls during lunchtime. This movie is despicable.
He says that in quotations because that's one of the lines.
That's
in the
what he
movie.
actually says.
Yeah.
I need to drain my balls and lunch after lunch. And there's an extended sequence where you just watch Dieter. You don't even see the head bobbing up and down, but you kind of know what's going on. But you just see Dieter doing these facial expressions, the most like, ugh. But you're probably thinking, that's probably what my face looks like doing stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't want to see it. I don't
He
necessarily
also throws
want
his hands up. In a
also
very
throws his hands up.
awkward
And
gesture.
he demands afterwards that she swallow the.
I've seen her work. She's been known to swallow.
It is, like I said, it's a pretty despicable movie. And then this character, the way they treat her is just absolutely terrible because at a certain point the prisoners escape and there's a riot, and of course she suffers the worst out of any character in the movie. Like the guy who deserves it doesn't get anything, but she gets beaten to a pulp and ultimately becomes part of the Human Centipede. It's I couldn't really at that point. I kind of like, you're right. At a certain point, I kind of just checked out. I was like, I had enough. This movie had reached a level like I'm not entertained. Like with the second movie, it redeemed itself at the very end, where the lady had the baby in the car, the escape car, and she was so desperate to escape, she didn't give a fuck and just stepped on the baby's head and smashed it in order to hit the accelerator to get out of the parking lot. That moment.
That
was
sounds terrible.
You haven't seen it?
No,
It is
I
terrible.
stopped at one.
It is terrible, but it's at a level of ridiculousness that you can't help but laugh because of how just out of the realms of reality is.
But on some level, the second one tries to maintain an element of horror. This third one is more wacky than anything.
Right, but at the
Like,
same time,
it's not horrific at
Its
all.
attempts at being risque fall short. Dieter fucking the wound of one of the prisoners.
No. They fucked.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. There's a scene where there's a dream sequence. Spoiler alert: where he's fucked in a wound that one of the prisoners
cut into him.
Crash style.
You're right. Exactly. That's what I thought immediately. Like, oh, David Cronenberg's Crash. Nothing unique here. The only scene that actually caused most of us to sort of recoil in pseudo delight and disgust was when one of the prisoners' balls are sliced open and Dieter pulls them. And then turns it, and then he eats them later. Medium rare.
Well, at least he cooks them.
Well, yeah, he even comments that he doesn't want these raw.
Right.
I saw the first Human Centipede, and I was genuinely intrigued and actually a little bit scared to see but what ended up happening is the movie in my head was so much worse than what was actually on the screen. Because I saw the trailer, I'm thinking this is like my worst nightmare. I never realized I had, being the center piece of a Human Centipede.
There's the thing is, like with the first one, there's a level of believability, right?
100% accurate medically.
100% medically accurate, and so that helps it along. And Dieter's performance in that helps it along. He really seems like a crazy surgeon who has gotten bored. And he is just trying stuff now, you know. That it's in a realm of reality that I can sort of like. There's enough, like, okay, I can suspend disbelief a little bit and accept that there's this guy who will do this sort of thing.
Okay.
And in the second movie, it's a comment on people's obsession with these kinds of movies and how far some people will go, and sort of like, I don't know. It's a comment on how much we enjoy movies like that.
Do we, though?
Some of us do.
No.
Some of us do.
All right, we are running on time. Rob, you want to spit out some quick ones?
Oh man, so many.
Yeah.
No, he's got a list.
I watched. I'll skip TV stuff.
Yes,
I watched all the Terminator movies.
Including the latest. Just speak on the latest.
The new one is bad. Not as bad as Terminator 3. Rise of the Machines, but it's bad. Okay. Currently, the rankings are still Terminator 2, Terminator Salvation. Everything else is bottom. We both saw Overnight.
We did.
That was a decent flick.
There's some penis in it.
Magic Mike XXL, excellent movie.
No penis in it. Weird.
5 stars on that one. That's a great movie.
Can go that far. Fun.
Inside Out, that's also a 5-star movie. If I haven't talked about that
I need
one
to see
before.
that. Eric saw that one.
Yeah, I saw it this week too. I'm a little upset. It feels very manipulative at this point.
Why?
It's just, I mean, it's good. I'll give it that certainly, but like, it just seems like Pixar so just does it on purpose, like pulls it like every.
That's not true because there's no character that dies in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, it happens like eventually.
But he's not. He doesn't really.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, the character you're talking about isn't really dead.
Well, I know because he was never. Yeah. But I don't know. It just all feels like so manipulative. Like I enjoyed it, but like I feel
you saw the strings.
Wait,
yeah.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the thing. Like, there's movies that are manipulative, and you do not buy into it, right?
Yeah.
You see the strings, and you're like, "Fuck you, string, get away." In the case of Inside Out, though, those strings, you may see them, but you don't fight against them. You let them. That thing pull your heartstrings.
Yeah, and also,
and you embrace it.
Is it really manipulative if they're exploiting your own human emotion?
Oh, this is true.
Because Rob's exactly right. If some movies try to make you feel something, like a Lifetime movie, and you feel nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
American Sniper.
If it's done so well, I think some people feel very strongly about that. But if it's done well, then ultimately it's not manipulating you; it's invoking emotion.
Right. It's tapping into something that exists, something that's actually there.
You don't want to feel when you go to the
difference.
movies?
Oh, I do, and I get a little misty, certainly.
Right.
But like,
But you shouldn't resent a movie because it actually managed to make you get misty. You should resent a movie that tries to make you misty but does a shitty job of it.
I didn't resent the
it.
movie. I didn't resent it at all.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, I see it now because it's the first Pixar movie I've seen since I think Toy Story 3. And I guess I've had these years.
Well,
to reflect on it,
you skipped Brave.
I did.
Brave,
Monster
Cars
University.
2, and Monsters University.
I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, I didn't see Monsters University or
Neither did
Cars
I.
2.
Did you
I did
Up?
see Cars 2.
I did see it.
Did you like Up?
I did like Up.
You did not?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I don't like Pixar's good. I like Pixar movies, but
See, because Up is even more like
Yes.
sort of tugging on the heartstrings, right? But
Yes.
it does it so effectively. Like those first
Certainly
10
the
minutes
first
are
10 minutes.
extremely emotional.
There's a reason why there's a meme. There's memes out there about Up because it works. That's what I'm saying. Is like you shouldn't be resentful for a movie that
I'm not resentful.
you call them manipulative.
I'm very.
That's the kind of thing you use.
It seems
I guess you
it
could
seems
use
a
that
little
term.
overly obvious this time. Maybe just because of the theme of the movie. I mean, they are dealing directly with emotion.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just
Maybe
a
your
little
heart
too
is
obvious.
dead, Eric.
Yeah.
Spielberg is the master of manipulation. He's all about
I
manipulating.
think he's been
you.
surpassed, man.
By Pixar?
Yes.
Oh,
easily.
sure.
Yes.
But I'm talking about like live action, not necessarily movies set in a fantasy.
Like, what scenes come to mind that you're saying Spielberg manipulates?
End of Saving Private Ryan just jumped right in my head. Tell me I'm a good man.
Yeah, shit, bro. Shit.
But at that point,
This watch could have...
Niagara Falls.
that was a ring, by the way, Jeff.
Whatever. He had a watch. He's holding on to that.
But don't you think those scenes have been earned?
Yes, that's
right?
the reason why.
Because that ring scene is emotional.
Right, that's the difference.
And
between,
then it hits you with the scene with all the living Jews that come with the rocks on the grave. Like, oh
You're talking
no!
about Schindler's List now.
That's the ring scene. We're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
okay.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like they're earned. They earn that schmaltziness.
Earned.
Do you think it's schmaltzy though?
Sure, you can still use that word, just like you
Schmaltzy
can.
is like a word, like almost like you're
Like saccharine.
Like saccharine. That's exactly what I was going to say.
No, saccharine
Yes.
is the word you
no,
use.
schmaltzy indicates like it's so precious. It's not. It's
Sure, it's shorthand.
Yeah, it's
I apologize.
It's almost
it's
like
not meant to be dismissive.
diminishing what
I'm
it
not.
is.
I don't mean as dismissive. Like he doesn't mean manipulative as dismissive. I guess when it comes to Pixar movies.
Okay. We need to.
I was going to also say I saw Beyond the Lights. That's an excellent movie as well.
What's it about, real quick?
It's about a pop singer that sort of loses her way, and through love finds her inspiration again.
Sounds terrible.
It's a great movie.
All
Great
right.
love
I think
story.
you've gone soft. You're like Roger Ebert in his
Wait,
old
was that like in
age.
theaters for like a second?
Yes, it did not.
I actually heard it was actually really good.
Yeah, it did not get what it deserved in terms of accolades. It's really quite.
No,
good.
it got well reviewed, and I was actually intrigued by it, but it was so in and out of theaters.
It's on
That
Netflix now. Instant Queue.
I don't have Netflix, but
Beyond
I do.
the Lights?
But only discs.
Beyond the Lights.
I'll watch it then.
and judge it harshly.
Probably.
All right, so the movie we're gonna watch today.
What are we gonna watch?
All right,
I
I'm just
never
gonna
checked
gonna
anything
hand
that's
you
on
the
there.
disc like last time, and you're gonna be delighted.
Is that okay?
You're
Wait,
ready?
I thought I had to guess something. I thought
No.
That's
we
changed.
We
You
don't
don't
do
do
that
that
anymore.
You just keep changing up and up. Well, I can read it from here, Jeff. You didn't even cover it. I can read upside down. Oh no! Like this better be better than Human Centipede 3. I don't know.
Read the
Jeff.
title, bro.
It's Samurai Cop. You have the right to remain silent. Dead silent.
And
There's a lot of boobs on the cover, actually.
yes,
which
there's
is
a lot
funny.
of boobs in the movie.
Like, it's just... this reminds me, honestly, from the cover of an 80s softcore porn movie.
What I love is that it's got fake like
wear and
damage.
tear.
Yeah, wear and tear.
Is that what that's
Everything
supposed
is
to be?
faded, like
Yeah.
it was like a VHS tape
Like
at
it sat
a
in the
rental
sun.
that's been
Yeah.
sitting in sun too long. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you think they put a lot of thought into the design of
Sure,
this?
they totally want you to realize, oh, this is like a grindhouse movie. This is crap.
It is crap.
I can't wait to watch it.
All right, so and today is the National Food Holiday.
Oh, no. What is it?
It's actually there were two.
Isn't every day a national food holiday?
I've
apparently?
learned this. Yes.
Who lobbies for those?
Yeah,
You
I don't know.
wonder.
I think it's the companies that make that
Well,
stuff.
today we'll be having
It's
beverages,
Japanese word.
and today is National Pina Colada Day.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, Pina Coladas and Samurai Cop. We will be right back.
Are you Fujiyama?
Yes, I am. Who are you?
I'm a cop.
His real name is Joe Marshall. They call him Samurai. He speaks fluent Japanese. He got his martial arts training from the masters in Japan. He was brought over here from the police force in San Diego to fight us.
Would you like to fuck me?
You're the one that talked me into bringing this moron from San Diego to fight the Japanese katana gang.
Bingo.
I want him dead. I want his head cut off and brought here.
Have you been circumcised?
Yeah, I have. Why?
Well, your doctor must have cut a big portion of it off.
I want his head on this piano so that every man in my organization understands once more that no katana gets captured alive or cocked. Got that?
How did you know I'd come home with you?
Let's just say I can read eyes.
I feel like somebody stuck a big club up my ass, and it hurts. We've got to figure out a way to get it out of there.
We have returned, and we just finished Samurai Cop. A feast of craptacular
Proportions.
entertainment. And the proportions are huge.
Some might say a black gift.
It is indeed a black gift. Paul,
Yeah.
just going on record of all the movies you've had to sit through so far, this has to be top 3, right? Top
You know
3.
what? It honestly is.
I'm
yeah.
saying.
No doubt. It was. Would probably be number 2. To be
Behind
honest
the
with you.
American?
Yeah, Behind the American. Like,
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you said that. Because this movie is as personal to me as is whatever my number 1 movie is. This movie is that to me. Let me tell you a little story. How I came across this movie was pretty random. I was really big into audio commentary tracks. And are you familiar with Cowboy Joe Bob Briggs?
No.
All right. Well, he used to do kind of a late night
TNT,
you know.
Oh, the horror guy. Like,
Yeah,
they
or he
played,
did like
bad
action
thieves.
TNA, like Andy Sedaris films.
Yeah.
And he kind of, you know.
I did watch that back. in the
Okay,
day.
so he did a whole strew of commentary tracks for various movies that he used to put on the show. For example, he did one for "I Spit on Your Grave." He did a lot the incredibly mixed up zombies movie that movie with a really long title, and most of those movies were unwatchable. But I was obsessed with his commentary tracks, so when they were all on Netflix, I started watching all of them. They're like Double D Avenger and Frankenstein versus Jesse James' daughter, stuff like that.
So, man, on Netflix Instant,
No, it wasn't on Instant. This is back. I don't even think Instant was a thing. We're going way back here.
Okay.
This is like straight disc. So I was renting like disc with Joe Bob Briggs commentary.
So it was like 99.
Yeah.
Netflix wasn't around in 99.
Yeah, it was the 2000s.
I think it was.
No way.
No, it had.
Because I remember.
99? No way.
Was it early 2000s?
It was probably
there's no way.
2000. About. I was living downtown, so it was about 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I came across Samurai Cop, and I first watched the movie, and I stopped like about 20 minutes into it, and I called my friend Engineer Travis and said, "What are you doing?" Like, no, we're going to watch a movie because this. I was befuddled by this thing. That's like this movie was so inept. And just, I couldn't take my eyes off it. And I felt like this, it maybe just the first 20 minutes and it's going to just, become just boring and whatever. But I figured because Joe Bob Briggs' name was attached to it, there was something special about this film. So I watched it over at Travis's. And it was a transformative experience for me. And like, all right, now I got to hear this commentary. And the commentary track's great. And if you can actually find the disc with that commentary track, which is no longer in print, please let me know.
Included on this Blu-ray we watched?
There are 3 commentary tracks on this new disc, none by Joe Bob Briggs.
Oh, man, that's a travesty.
I'm telling you, somebody knows where that disc is, I will probably pay $100 for it.
Because you used to have that disc.
I never owned it. I never got around to it. It was like I was going to get around to maybe buying it, but I kept on just renting it on Netflix. I actually rented it at least 3 or 4 separate times just to watch this movie.
Lost it,
And well, eventually now somebody got smart and just didn't return their copy because you can't.
That could have been you.
It could have been me, but alas. Anyway,
You were honest. You were an honest Netflixer.
I tried to be. But this movie kind of I started slowly but surely, because there was nothing about this movie for the longest time. But I realized eventually there were people like me out there who were kind of discovering, and you're finding these, these reviews, these details.
You're like a brony.
Kind of, sort of, in
Without
a way.
the weird sexual stuff.
I mean, yeah.
So there is weird sexual stuff.
Well, it brings fish kisses to a whole new level. And eventually, people start, looking into the director's other stuff. He has 2 other movies that are actually available called Killing American Style and Hollywood Cop, which I need to see. And he did 2 other movies that are not available in America. He's sadly the filmmaker. Amir Shervan is no longer with us. But this movie just, which I watched kind of on a lark and kind of got obsessed with, slowly but surely just kind of built its own following, and to the point where it is now got a sequel that will be released this fall. And I would like to
theatrically.
Specialty, I'm sure, screenings. Yeah. And I'm going to show you this trailer, Paul.
Okay, I look forward to it.
It has a trailer. I haven't seen the trailer.
You have not seen the trailer?
I have not seen the trailer.
I'll watch the trailer.
I don't watch trailers.
Oh, come on. You can watch this one.
You can watch this one, bro.
We're going to have to comment on it.
Here we go.
We knew this day would come. He has returned.
Joe Marshall?
He is our Antichrist, and he must be defeated.
But I believe the love is one continuous stream, which is never ends.
So the difference, obviously, between what we just saw and what that movie is easily self-awareness. Whereas the original, which, Paul, the running theme, or just, you were pretty incredulous of whether this is for real. You thought that this...
Yeah, you kept asking, is this for real?
Sometimes I really... I still don't know if I believe that it was completely legit. Because when we watched The Room, I could see that being a legit movie, right?
Well, it's very similar in the way, like the director and the writer, not from the U.S., maybe
okay,
not aware of certain things,
Yeah, if you're gonna argue at that point, yeah, it's possible that it was, but still, like The Room, you could tell. Ultimately, what they were trying to do is make this heartfelt, emotional movie.
Oh, it's definitely from his heart.
There's so many lines in there that I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to interject humor, and it went away, and that's why it ends up being so strange and awkward.
Yeah, it's basically my feeling of it is Amir Shervan was trying to make a lethal weapon with basically samurais, and.
Isn't that Black Rain?
All right, so
I have a question.
Go for it.
Your love for this movie is
unparalleled.
Yeah, unparalleled. We'll use that. We'll use that word.
Undeniable.
Unparalleled is a good one.
Okay.
I win. Paul.
My question then is, why is it ranked at 470 whatever?
Because I acknowledge at the end of the day it is a terrible movie.
But it should be about your enjoyment.
Yeah. This is the McJeffrey 500.
It's a complicated...
You're a sellout.
No.
You're a sellout.
No, sellout wouldn't put the movie on the list at all.
Yeah, but this is kind of buried. If there's essentially a buried, it's if anything above 450 or even 400 is kind of a buried movie.
Yeah, but I mean, if we rewinded maybe like 10 minutes ago, you said it was number one. If you said you had a number one movie, this was it.
No, I said this I hold a special place in the cockles of my heart as much as I hold that number one movie, but for different reasons.
If you were being honest on the McJeffrey 500, where would you truly rank this movie for your love compared to other movies?
In a sense, I find it's kind of unrankable. It's kind of
that's
call it what you will, but
where's Hard Ticket to Hawaii? Stuff like that. Come on.
I say I would put Hard Ticket below Samurai Cop.
This is better. He likes Cedar Falls more than he likes this, or Cedar Rapids.
You don't know that.
What was that movie?
Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids, yeah.
That movie may not show up.
It's on there.
Book it.
Yeah.
No. At least RoboCop ranks higher.
Or so you think.
But maybe it truly doesn't. Maybe Jeff likes this more than he likes RoboCop, but he's unwilling to admit it.
Yeah.
Because he wants to keep his credibility.
There's no... Where's the credibility?
Well, the credibility would be...
Am I a truly respected film connoisseur?
Well, you want to put it out there.
You want to pass yourself off as one?
Yeah.
I do not.
Yeah.
That's your job, Rob. I am a film fan. I enjoy film. I don't dissect. This movie, I actually, honestly, I stand corrected. There's certain movies, like Manos, The Hands of Fate would be another example of movies that I am so intrigued of how. It's like the hows and the whys that I want to learn about this movie as much as possible. And some movies are easy, like you can learn the ins and outs of like a Jaws or a Alien, for example, or Citizen Kane. But this one you have to dig, and you got to hope there are other like-minded people who feel the same way. And
I mean, it got Blu-ray release, so obviously
there is an audience.
So who's the director of this sequel?
The guy who actually runs Cinema Epoch, who's actually the studio that released the Blu-ray to this movie.
They stepped up.
They obviously...
The saga needs to continue.
It takes place in space.
Okay, from watching the trailer, that's one of those trailers that actually makes me sort of want to see the sequel. And I'll tell you why, because they could have just made another cop drama, right?
They decided to go crazy.
Right, and they went crazy, and I think that was the only thing they could do, because if they made another cop drama and made it cheesy, everyone would be up in arms.
With like all the nods.
Yeah, the self-awareness. But this almost... And I actually love this movie. I know Rob. It reminded me of Crank, not only for the biling thing, but just the fact that it seems so out there.
And it happens that Samurai Cop 2 has biling in it as well.
So. Yeah, that's why I said.
Which I guess what does that say about biling at this point?
I think she'll take where
she needs to keep her coke habit going, man. Come on.
Is that alleged coke habit, or is this...
Oh, I mean, we saw it in Crank 2. That was autobiographical. That character.
And it's also kind of telling that Tommy Wiseau hasn't actually appeared as an actor in a film since The Room. Yet here he is as one of the heaviest.
Is that flubbing of the line intentional, or do you think it was an actual flubbed line that they kept in?
I'm sure it was the latter. And that's what makes, like I said, this movie is obviously self-referential. It can't not be at this point, because everyone knows the original Samurai Cop is, to its core, a bad movie. So this movie... And that's why we love it, is because it has heart and it's so inept, but you're entertained and you laugh and you feel good about it. This movie obviously is more like tongue-in-cheek, more in your Sharknado vein.
Ugh, I hate Sharknado though.
But I'm saying it's the same thing. Like, we know we're making a schlocky movie.
That's the only danger here.
Yes, it is. And so there's no way it could match the same feeling as the first one, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I mean, they cast more porn stars in this one, so that's fun.
But will they have interdimensional car chases?
I don't know if
it all takes place on that one space station. At least they'll get the lighting right, because it's a controlled environment. It's one set. They can keep the lights on an equal level.
And the few scenes that were outside, it was very gray out. So I think they have an idea of. You have
more competent filmmaking behind this one.
Yeah, there's a different type of love attached to it.
So what's interesting about so let's talk about Samurai Cop and how it comes to exist, and for that matter, The Room. You have a foreign filmmaker who decides he's going to make a movie.
If you want to go that far.
What do you mean?
Like filmmaker.
Technically, once he makes it,
he's a filmmaker. He made that film.
He got a SAG card somehow.
So this is a foreign filmmaker from another country who decides he's going to make a quintessential American film.
Yes.
Wiseau is going to make the quintessential romantic drama.
Oh, and this is actually it all leads into the Troll 2 even, because that was a foreign filmmaker trying to make
an American like their film. Vision of what America is like that can be really successful. Paul Verhoeven's vision of what corporate America is spot on.
But I think that was when you have somebody who's intelligent making it, right?
Right.
These guys, I think, are a little
they're hacks.
I think the one through line with all those filmmakers, though, they are very serious about their craft.
They're passionate, because even the Troll 2 guys...
You got really offended.
They get offended when people say it's crap. He says it's still good. Like, he maintains that it's a good movie.
Yeah, didn't he have like a blow-up on stage?
I think, that was one of the scenes. And then he also talks about when the people were saying, when they would give them lines in that movie, he would say... or they would tell him, "Oh, that's not how Americans speak," and he said, "Yes, it is how you speak, and that's how you're going to do it." So that's probably part of what's going on here.
Right.
You get the foreign, passionate filmmakers that
this is my vision.
They love American action films,
but yet somehow they don't understand them. Right?
Exactly,
it's their gift.
Yeah.
To cinema, yes.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, this guy managed to make 4 other films. One actually is, I believe. Involves Native Americans, Indians, and the other one.
Why did you switch over from being?
I got
appropriate nomenclature, and you switch over to the outdated version.
I thought be politically correct is a reflex. I wanted to fight that reflex for a second, and.
Shock jock.
Yeah, why don't you just take it further and say other things?
Yeah, Redskin.
Ooh. No, I won't go that far. But, so I haven't seen any of his other films. It seems to be the consensus is they're all bad, but this is the one that's truly consistently just...
Where does Samurai Cop fall in the filmography, though?
As far as...
Is this his first? Yeah. Was this his debut?
No. I believe this is... Actually, I think this is dead set in the middle. Killing American Style came after this. Hollywood Cop and Killing American Style, I believe, was his last film. The two that never made it to America.
This is sophomore effort.
It's third film.
Oh.
The other 2 never came to America, and those were his first 2 films.
So, but this is his first American film.
Yes, this is the first one that actually, was on their VHS copies were available for the indiscriminate.
So those previous movies, though, were made for a foreign market and probably had foreign actors.
Yes.
When I say foreign, they're not foreign there, but they're foreign here.
Yeah. I think it's
native language or native origins.
I know very little about them.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen the posters and they look pretty awesome. And I would still watch them even if I didn't understand them. Mm. But there's no English subtitle available copies out there, so I might as well just stick with the other 2 I haven't seen. Focus on those.
The director's Persian, I think. So I don't know if his other 2 are in Farsi, but
I don't speak Farsi.
Yeah, I didn't think you did, but
where's Cinema Epoch and all this then?
Cinema Epoch, well, they're champions. It's funny because Matt Hannon, who plays the Samurai Cop, he has an interesting backstory. He actually started his Hollywood career as being Sylvester Stallone's bodyguard. And so he had a lot of interesting... I listened to a very long interview with him. And he aspired to be an actor and a stand-up comedian. The guy, if you ever listen to him talk... How
come the most unfunniest guys always want to be the stand-up?
The dude lacks humility. To this day, lacks humility. I don't think he's that removed from the character in this movie. So he got his shot in this movie. It didn't really pan out, so he went back to being security for this pretty big deal church in L.A., where he felt that he was being... what's the term? Disrespected, and decided to show his employer that they are truly needed. So he planned a heist of stealing some very classic artwork in this old church, And he eventually got caught, got arrested. And he
Should
would
make a movie about it.
Yeah, and he got arrested again for violating parole after that. So he spent a good deal of time in jail. He eventually moved away to the Midwest, and no one heard anything from him. The funny thing is, in IMDb, there's one Matt Hannon who's actually shown as dead, and everyone assumed it was him. And it was actually a crew member of some sort. And he was totally... He found out about that, and he's like, good. It's like he doesn't exist anymore. And he ended up being like a nutritionist in his new life. But eventually he had a daughter, and his daughter grew up, and then she, found out about the movie, and she started getting into the social networks and realized, Dad, do you realize people love this movie? You need to... but they think you're dead. And he eventually... relented for his daughter to get out of hiding, which made me very happy because I assumed he was dead.
Oh, okay. This was all very recent too.
Very recently, yeah. And when he shows up on the iPhone camera with the long hair, wearing a towel, and just say, "Hey, I'm here," it's like Lazarus. Right, rising from the grave. Is that exciting for me?
He didn't rise from the grave. He came out of a tomb, I think.
A grave, tomb, same thing.
Easy roads.
And one thing led to another, and everybody decided they wanted to make the Samurai 2, and then Samurai Cop 2, and Melissa Moore, who played the female cop, came back for this.
Girl cop.
Girl cop. My bad. Frank, the partner, even characters who died in the first movie, like the boss. Yeah. He's back in this one. Okamura, who's the bald henchman, he's back. And they're, like I said, now the movie, it's kind of full circle now. It's a sequel. They're in space, and it won't be as good, but if there's actually a screening for this movie,
different kind of good,
I may take a road trip. I may have to go see it. I mean, if it's probably playing some specialty theater in LA, I may have to drive to go see it.
Would you sleep in your car?
No, I have a job now that can afford me a cheap motel.
Or a hostel.
Yeah, there's that option too. I'd probably prefer to stay in a Motel 6. So, Samurai Cop is, like I said, I love it. I love it like I love all these movies, but different.
It's a different kind of love.
It's a different kind of love.
You seem to be a fan of the so bad it's good genre.
When it's good. I mean...
what does that mean?
Because there's a lot of the, like...
When it's honestly bad.
Yeah, well, are you familiar with Andy Sedaris films? He did, it's like a lot of the Cinemax, a lot of explosions, a lot of, big tits. Did a ton of those movies. Julie Strain was in, half of them.
No, I don't think I know.
Okay, well...
I'm sure I've seen them.
Most of them are pretty unwatchable, except for one called Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which actually has, giant killer snakes and...
Killer Frisbees.
Killer Frisbees.
I forgot why it's called Hard Ticket to Hawaii again.
It's a hard ticket to Hawaii. It's not paradise all the time. That's the theme song. It's a great film.
Yeah, it's obviously higher up the list because we haven't seen it yet.
Or maybe it won't be on at all.
It's too shameful to be included on any kind of list.
The nudity is wonderful in it. And... no, there are examples of movies that... Miami Connection, something I watched with Rob pretty recently, I would say is fits the label of so bad it's good.
How'd you feel about it, Rob?
Which one?
Miami Connection.
Oh, I loved it. But it was, again, it was one of those movies where you can tell that they were filmmakers that didn't really know what they're doing, but they put all of their effort into it. And so it's, like I say, when I say honestly bad, that just means that its ineptitude is not fake, like in Sharknado. It's actually because the people making the movie don't know what they're doing.
I actually kind of loathe movies like Sharknado because it's...
They give a bad name.
It's lazy. It kind of does, honestly.
I actually dislike the fans of those movies.
They don't.
Who likes those movies?
There's a list.
Name two.
I'd rather not say.
Off the air, maybe.
These are the same people who hate on hipsters, who hate on people liking stuff ironically.
This is ultimately all irony.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's like you hate on hipsters, but you love fucking Sharknado. You can't wait to tweet about Sharknado. That you are a hypocrite. You are the thing that you claim to hate. Bugs the hell out of me.
I'm not a fan either. Have you seen the Sharknado movies, Paul?
No, I've never seen any of them, but I would watch them if they were on like Netflix or something.
I think they are.
Are they? I'll check them out.
Call your bluff right now.
Wait, so I would actually sit and watch them. Are they? See, because I actually sort of like a lot of the bad, cheesy sci-fi movies that are up, but the unintentional,
like the honest.
Yeah, like honestly, if it's a giant octopus in space fighting astronauts, that's interesting to me. I mean, it's stupid, right? But it's not. Wink, wink. We know what we're doing. Sort of thing. I don't know. I think there's a few of them.
Movies like Sharktopus.
Yeah.
Sharktopus versus Mega Shark or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like any form of giant shark versus giant anything else.
Don't you think that's a recent development though? Because back
relatively.
in the early 2000s, sci-fi had these movies and they weren't winking.
I remember Skeeter. It was like
Mosquito. I see that.
They were movies that they could afford to license the show on their channel because they were cheap,
right?
And they just needed something to fill in a slot.
But those were honestly sort of an homage to 1950s sci-fi. It was like a throwback.
Kind of. Yeah, but then it just... I will say I worked at a video store for about half a year, and those type of movies were actually exceptionally popular. Like, people would rent, like, Giant Python versus Mega Shark, or what... You just have to put words together and you've got a movie. I think they come up with the title before they actually come up with the movie. And very popular. Yeah. And so I can understand why people keep making these things because...
Well, they make money.
They do.
There's that company called Asylum. I forget what...
Oh, the Mockbuster people?
Yeah, what they do is they wait for a particular blockbuster to come out and they'll release something that is almost the same movie. Like, when Thor came out, they released a movie called Mighty Thor. And it was it was Thor of the Norse legends.
So did they do like the Shambling Dead or something like? Cause there's something up on Netflix. It's very very close.
Snakes on a Train.
Yeah, Transmorphers.
Transmorphers
is probably their biggest series.
I think ultimately their movies, and I heard this just recently. I forget exactly where, but their movies to like fool grandparents into buying for their grandchildren.
That makes sense because grandparents don't know.
Yeah. You know who are bigger offenses at? The ones that are like the Kung Fu Panda ripoffs with the really really bad CG. Mm-hmm. There was one called
Karate Panda.
Yeah, something like that. It was
Tai Chi Panda.
Terrible. It was horrible. It was like
Taekwondo Panda.
Unwatchable. And then they had like one for like Up, which I think was called Balloon. It was terrible.
These movies have existed for a while, though.
Yes.
Like, I mean, they're just like now kind of getting into the public eye. It seems, and like, along with the Sharknado movies, I don't know. What,
there's some movies like that though that have gone on to become as popular as the things that they were riffing.
Like Paranormal Entity. People actually swore that was a good movie.
I will say it's better than Paranormal Activity.
Whoa, that's a bold statement.
Is it, though?
It's more entertaining.
Is there titties in it?
It's possible.
Then it is probably a better movie.
I don't have the hate that you guys have for Paranormal Activity. I think the first one was not a bad movie.
No, but Paranormal
The door is adjacent.
More...
Oh, sorry. The door is ajar. That's what I meant.
Wait,
to say.
what are you talking about?
The door opened.
I remember in the theater seeing it at midnight, and people started screaming when the door started creaking open, and I just said, "Oh my god, the door is ajar."
Here's the difference between you guys and myself. Is I saw this after it was out of theaters at my house, and I didn't just see any of the hype because I wasn't watching trailers at this point also, and so I just
clearly
took
weren't
it
listening
as
to us either.
Yeah, because I remember you guys saying it was bad, right?
Yeah,
but I think no, it's not a bad movie actually. When you break it down, like from a horror perspective, it's not that poorly constructed.
I've come to the conclusion that most found footage or YouTube movies, as I used to call them, but found footage vernacular took over, so I gotta just use it. I think those movies overall are bad. There's very few
but they're
examples.
entertaining.
Because
I have a morbid curiosity. I don't hate them. I watched them all.
Yeah.
I've seen all the Paranormal
You hate
Activities.
the Blair Witch?
Blair Witch is an oddity. It is what began it. So
It's the one to blame.
I don't know if it was to blame. I remember seeing it the first time, and I was like, "Wow, that was pretty good." It was an interesting way to make a movie.
And that's
I had no idea that it was going to spawn
Begot.
what it did.
But it really didn't.
Because
for
what's
quite some
funny
time
is
now.
Eric's right. There was a huge break
Yeah.
until found footage came
Like
back.
if you go from
But even Blair Witch, I watched it the second time. I was bored out of my mind.
But how many years in between Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity though?
Oh, plenty. That
And
came
what was
out in
it?
'99
Yeah.
was Blair Witch.
And what was in between?
A lot of garbage.
The reason you were
Yeah,
bored
there's a
out
lot
of
of
your
stuff.
mind with Blair Witch is because that movie exists in a once in a lifetime.
It's a one and done.
Yeah, because you know you're not going to see anything, right? Until the very end, and then you don't really see anything.
So my
at all.
question then becomes:
It's
what
all
is
set up.
what is the
It's tension.
point? What is the point of movies like that? What is the point of
What?
of one and dones?
Because you could have a really great experience one time with it, and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's life, man. It's all going to end. You
They
can't
can't
take it
all
with you.
keep giving like
Yeah.
Samurai Cop.
Yeah, so ultimately, I don't mind movies that I can only watch once. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I probably want to watch Salo again, but I'm glad I watched it.
If you had a good time that one time, then that's all that matters. And the first time I watched Blair Witch, I loved it. I thought it was really good.
All right, we are actually out of time. Wow.
Yeah. I also want to say rest in peace, thedissolve.com. I don't know if anybody ever visited that website.
No.
It was
We're to blame, apparently.
No, I'm saying rest in peace, thedissolve.com.
Is it an offshoot of Badass Digest?
No. Badass Digest doesn't exist anymore either.
What?
Wow.
But
Where are you going to get all your nerd media?
Back to Chud?
Chud is gone too.
What's Chud?
What?
Chud shuttered its doors as well.
Wasn't Chud a horror movie in the 80s?
It was. That's what inspired the name of that website.
Cinematic Happenings Under Development is what it stood for.
I like.
The Dissolve was this website that treated film criticism seriously. It wasn't really about the hits. It focused on a lot of older movies with some talk of new stuff. What was unique about them is at the end of every day, they would have a collection of articles that they felt like were worth reading across the internet. And they had a weekly column that dealt with the gender politics in the film industry and whether or not it was a good or bad week for women.
So this is what made you so liberal.
Yes.
You've regurgitated what they said.
Sure.
So maybe you'll slow down now that they're gone.
Maybe. Or maybe I had to step it up because I had to fill the void.
Stop throwing out those lady cops.
Girl cops.
Oh, girl cops. I'm too respectful. I get it wrong every time. Yeah.
All right, and the greatest crime of this podcast is I actually forgot to make a script.
No, you didn't forget to make it.
Oh, no.
You forgot to bring it.
I forgot to... No, I had it ready, but I didn't print it out. So you're about
No,
to...
you guys are so terrible at this.
I know.
It's like,
There's only one Jeff.
Travis did the same thing earlier this week when he came over to watch The Thing.
All right. We're very professional.
Shit.
It's our podcast. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yep.
I
Run it into the ground.
Yep.
Run it into the ground.
It's fine. I will now do a one-man show of a scene in Samurai Cop.
Oh, he's preparing. He's getting all ready.
All right. Let's see.
Break a leg, Jeff.
Do you like what you see? I love what I see. Would you like to go out with me? Yes. Yes, I would. Would you like to touch me? Yes. Yes, I would. Would you like to fuck me? Bingo. Well, let me see what you're working with. Sorry, not interested. What do you mean? I already screwed this up.
Oh, no.
I was going
It's
so
going
well.
so well.
I was going so well. I'm sorry, not big enough. Well, how big do you want? As big as a jumbo jet? Are you circumcised? Yeah, why? Your doctor must have cut a lot of it off. No, he was a good doctor. Good doctors make mistakes too. That's why they have insurance. Trust me, it's big enough. It's big. I want bigger. Let's see.
I do like that. It was like one scene where Samurai Cop got his...
he got rejected.
Yeah, he got his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it came early because you thought maybe, okay, he's a buffoon.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, in that scene, I thought this was going straight 80s, 90s softcore. I thought they were going to do it in the closet. Doesn't it seem like that was where that was headed?
In the dentist office next door?
Yeah,
Yes.
the dentist office in the hospital.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me for Samurai Cop. Intro music provided by Austin Oz Graham. To hear more, you can go to his... his Facebook page is down right now. But I believe his SoundCloud and his YouTube page is still available. You just put in Austin Oz Graham. That is Austin, like the city. Oz, like the wizard. Graham, like the cracker. Special shout out goes out to Engineer Travis, without whom you would not be hearing this. Check out our podcast at the Plan9Planet.com, Plan 9 Podcast. This week we watch It, The Terror from Outer Space. It's pretty good. And on that note, we will leave you with a song. Paul, anything come to mind right now?
Well, it probably should be a cheesy 80s song. So I'm thinking we're going to head somewhere in the Phil Collins realm.
Ooh.
I think maybe Susu Studio would be appropriate for this.
Sounds about right. We will end with Susudio, the Phil Collins classic off the album No Jacket Required. So until next time, I do bid you adieu.